Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division here for the Old British Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a closer look, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification. For those of you that do want to get the best guides on the market and improve your tour game or tournament game or both, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You can also scan the QR code and you will get directly there. There you can start as low as $2.50 or you just choose whatever package we do have there. If you do have any questions before sign up, email support@golfclashtommy.com. In this playthrough, you will see shots from me and also from Brandon Burke. Make sure that you subscribe to Brandon's channel by follow the YouTube link in the description down below. These are shots that are featured in our qualifying round guide. Obviously, when it comes to these shots, you will be able to use these shots as reference for the rest of the tournament as well, because many of the holes will be playing the same or similar way as we're doing already in the qualifying round. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club and the ball we suggest to play with, also what the club distance and elevation we suggest as well. So enough talking, let's go to hole number one. Here we're gonna start with the quarterback in NMT, and then we swap to a pock and thorn bag, all the top spin and one right spin. This is a shot that is a little bit more aggressive option for a pock 7 plus. We do have option for a pock 4 plus as well. This is as now an alternative option. We're pushing up 3 rings after we have made our adjustment, which is max plus 10 P5, and then we're using 0.4 ball of right curl, so it's not entirely half a ball of right curl. Max overpower with a slower needle, try to hit perfect. We want this ball to roll somewhere between 400 to 410 yards. For those that do want to play with an even slower needle, you can use a Win 5 ball, Win 5 P1 ball, Win 5 P5 ball, and have a much slower needle. On the second shot, we're gonna use our thorn and go with backspin. We use +2 as a reference with fringe check, using all the backspin. Now we're using the tip of the ball guideline to be when looking at it from this direction, which is the recommended way of setting it up. It should be just into the final green square, pointing towards the right side of the cup. +2 fringe check, +9 fringe check is our base, which is 92% slider with an 80% over adjustment, power 5 ball settings. Then we're adding or subtracting 0.1 from there. If we do have a pin check, then we're going to use +2 as a base, and +2 is going to be 92% slider, plus 80% elevation, P5 numbers. Yes, 80 is the correct elevation. We're using a lot of elevation here to making sure that we are getting our job. This is a really good chance for an eagle, but the drive is obviously everything. If you don't get the drive to where we want to, you're gonna have to be a bit innovative and at least make sure to secure the birdie. Only option in our guide, but this is with a Win 5 ball as a test. This shot has dropped with a Win 3 and Win 4 ball also. Max backspin, 3 right spin from NMT. Cannot be simpler than that. Now we're going to go with an adjustment that is 1-to-1, so 5.7 rings for 5.7 miles per hour. No wind angle tweaks, center the ball, and then you move to inner wall right curl, which is where the right side of the ball is resting on the circle. Perfect ball it is, and it catches the funnel and it rolls down the hill, and we're getting ourselves a nice little hole-in-one here on hole number 2. For the drive on hole number 3, we're gonna play on the pad that is there on the right. We're looking to have the bullseye centered on the fairway, but more importantly, look at the position of your rings. It should be as equal amount away from the rough line. So you can see I'm looking at the blue ring here as a reference, starting at max P3 line. 3.5 topspin and 3 left spin. Adjustment is max plus 5% elevation, P3 numbers. And once we are done with the adjustment, we're gonna use, as you can see here, we're gonna use 1.5 ball of left curl, and I'm also gonna be just before circled drop overpower, which is approximately half a ring of overpower. The goal here is to get this ball consistently up on the fairway by leaving ourselves then a long iron towards the pin. You see, we bounce on the fairway, up on the fairway, and now we do have an open shot towards the pin with, in my opinion, a very good chance for a drop. On the second shot, you can decide to either do rings from in, or you can go for a fringe shake. I personally prefer a fringe shake as it goes quicker for me, but it's up to you to decide what feels the quickest for you. 2.5 top spin, and we are using half a bar of right spin. Now I'm looking at to have the ball guide line through the hole like that, with the red ring to be just by the rough line. And it is important to have the red ring just by the rough line, because if you're off the rough line, you're gonna see yourself being either missing right or missing left, because you kind of have to have that reference point spot on, as that would otherwise control the outcome of your shot. So when it comes to the back frame check, we're using 28% slider with minus 5% elevation, P3 numbers, and then we're adding or subtracting 0.1 from there. Obviously a perfect ball is preferred, a great ball will most definitely miss. Hole number 4, one of our options in the guide. This is a more aggressive option. We're playing with 0.4 backspin, 1 right spin, and then I'm looking, if you look at the top left of the white ring combined with the bottom of the inner ring as reference points. So top left of the white ring by the fringe where it meets the green, and then bottom of the inner ring by the rough line. You can also use the ball guideline as reference if you want to. Small 12-01 on your pull angle, or whatever pull angle you feel this is, but for me that's a small 12-01, and in this angle we're not gonna do any tweaks whatsoever. Adjust is 1-to-1 minus 1.2, and we are always going to pull over bullseye. So here I'm adjusting 4.4 rings for 5.6 miles per hour. This is a shot that is only tested for wind 5. This, as more wind, will make you adjust higher up that hill and make it easier to miss the rough. And that's something you need to have in mind here, that if you are playing with a 1159 or just poorly off center or just off center pull, then you risk missing the rough. So you need to be spot on when doing this, but if you're spot on and you hit perfect, this is a very good chance, in my opinion, for a drop. You can play with maximum a power 2 ball needs to be set as well. Using a power 3 ball, that will make you pull in between clubs. On hole number 5, we're gonna start at the plus 0 yard mark, which is just before +1, obviously. 5.8 top spin or side spin. Here I would recommend to play with a power 5 ball that gives you the most wind resistance possible. So the more wind resistance, the better. Now, looking at the red ring's position in relation to the rough line on the right, adjust is going to be max plus 10 power 5. And once we have used max plus 10 power 5, we're going to go max overpower with a slower needle. And here is where a lot of wind resistance will be helpful. Like if you have a wind 4 or a wind 5 ball, the needle will be very slow, and it's obviously going to be easier to hit perfect. You can play even with a berserker if you would like, but obviously the needle will be very shaky. Bounces 2 times before the rough and it rolls over, and now we're gonna play ourselves either to just be super ultra safe for an eagle, or we can actually go and do some sort of an attack to the pin. Alright, so this may not be the best shot I've done in my life, but I wanted to show you that for those of you that do have a lot of topspin on your wood club on your second shot, can try to attack the pin. The only problem for us here in the video is that I'm actually using overpower, which is a mistake of mine. I'm aiming way left of the pin here, using the second bounce to be just by the edge of the rough line, and adjust is what I'm using, max plus 10 p5. So in my mind here, I'm just thinking, alright, I rather want to have a putt than I would like to have a wedge on the side. I know we are taking a risk being just by the water, so obviously I need to have that in mind. So, but the idea here is to bounce and then into the rough and then roll out. Now you can see that overpower almost destroyed everything for me, and obviously I'm rolling long, and now I do have a kind of a long putt, which is obviously very makeable. But if you're not interested in doing this over the water, you can lay up just left of the green and you can get yourself a wedge from there. So it's all about what you prefer. This wind, very difficult on an already difficult par 5. On hole number 6, we are actually having a pretty decent chance here in my opinion. I've tried bounce over the water with all the topspin boost balls that I have, but it's not possible to do that because we don't have enough wind to push the ball over. 3 right spin and 1.7 backspin. We're using the top of +9 with rock 9 and with the white ring to be just by the rough line. Rock 8 start at +10. What we're gonna do is an adjustment of 1 to 1. So we adjust 6.7 rings and we're using max overpower with a completely slow needle and 1.5 ball of curl. We want then to bounce on the fairway up here onto the end of the fairway, and this is going to leave us for an approach with a rough bump from distance, which is actually a decent chance if you can hit. Perfect. You don't have to play with a power 4 ball or a power 5 ball. You can play with a power 3 ball as well. But the issue with playing with a power 3 ball is that if you do hit great left, or if you are too low on your curl, you might not be in range to do the rough bump as we would like. So here I'm using the power 4 ball to absolutely ensure that even if I make a crappy drive, I will still be in range of attacking the pin. On the second shot, you can see here that I'm playing with the big boy club, which is the Cataclysm. Here you can actually play with, any Cataclysm, obviously big dog. We can also play with Horizon. Horizon is actually an interesting option, especially if you do have an Horizon in a high level, because then you have a good ball guideline and also a lot of power. So, adding spins, I'm having the ball guideline to go just through the hole with Cat 8. Cat 7 should be having the ball guideline to the hole, and Cat 6 should be just short of the hole. Now, from +12 here, my friends, we are going to use a standard slider table here, where we are going to go with, let me take a look, we're gonna play from +12, we play actually max, so 100% slider, no elevation, P3 numbers. But as always, hit perfect, and you will have a chance for a drop. But unfortunately, I don't do that. But you can see here with a perfect ball, it kind of misses where I expect a great left to miss. And a perfect would most definitely be a very good chance here on a tough par 4 and a long par 4 and a pretty boring par 4 here on the Old Bridge Park. Hole number 7, here we do have an aggressive shot with a rough bump that is a very nice one in the sense of that we can actually rely on the bounces, which is very helpful. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna play with a ball that gives us 1 right spin and 2.8 backspin. Ignore what I'm doing here in the beginning of the video. What we need to focus on here is this play here. You can see we do have the bullseye just by the edge of the rough line with the tip of the ball guideline to go into the dark green square row. Adjustment here now is 1 to 1 minus 1. So here we play 4.8 rings for 5.8 miles per hour and pull over the bullseye. In this angle, we're gonna be just playing with circle break, just before circle break on the power. And then we will tweak with some right curl or left curl depending on what we do have as a wind angle. Bounces nicely into the rough on the fringe, and then it slows down and we're dropping this one right at the hole for a lovely hole-in-one here on hole number 7. This is alternative number 2 in our guide. So for hole number 8, what I would like you all to do is actually to play with a special ball here, if you can. I know that there's obviously a very solid way of just using a long iron on the second shot to give ourselves a nice way to the eagle, which is option number 1 in our guide. But this is option number 2, and now we're gonna utilize one of our new precision ball. 3 left, 3 top spin, start at the just after +1, or like just below +1, which is a max line with a power 0 ball. Max +10, half a ball of left curl, and then the goal is to get the ball safely down the fairway. Again, you don't have to play with a precision ball, but you have to play with a power 0 ball if you're gonna play the shot here shown. 342 yards. Second shot, now we're going to play here with our sniper. Pack the grizzly to easier find min lines. You move up to min, and then you move, then you push up rings from min to have your target on the fringe. It's very important that you have your target on the fringe. Backspin to get the ball guideline 1 green square through the hole. And from here, we're gonna use min minus 20% elevation P5 as our base. So we're gonna use that adjustment from min line. And then for every ring we push up, we're adding 0.1. Very important that you do play with a small, or like a favor 1159 here. Making the adjustment, also making sure to pull over bullseye, center the ball, and hit perfect. And this is going to be a very good chance for you to getting a drop here on hole number 8. Again, you don't have to play this shot. This is an alternative. We obviously have another option in the guide as well for those that you want to pin down and play for a long iron to pin instead. On the drive here, we start with our quarterback, and we are then going to set up our target at the top of +9, red ring to the left by the, what can I say, the wood there by the water. To left, 5.8 topspin. You swap to an apocalypse to have as well the guardian in your bag. Adjust this max +10 P4. Once you have adjusted, we're gonna go half a ball of left curl. And if you do adjust so the ball gets into the bunker, then we're gonna be just before circle drop overpower. If we do not go into the bunker, we shall not go with any overpower whatsoever. The plan here is to get the ball to around 325 yards, but when we're playing a shot like this, we're obviously taking a risk where we're playing onto a very small fairway, so any error on your drive will or may get yourself into trouble, because have in mind that if you do get into the rough or sand with your ball on drive, then you will not be able to reach for the green in 2. But this is the way where we can attack the pin for an albatross on the second shot. Right, on the second shot, stretch out to absolute max. Inner ring to be just by the rough line, so right side of the inner ring to be just by the rough line. Then we release and we add 8 backspin, 2 left spin. Now we're gonna push our rings as the trees is gonna be making a mess, and it's always going to be max minus 10% elevation, P5 numbers. What I would like to do though is that I would like to pull back 2 yards after our adjustment. So we're pulling back to the top of the +15. So it's important that, let's say that you end up at 17 and you pull back to the top of +15. If you end up at +18, you pull back to the top of +16. We're gonna go 1.5 ball of left curl, and we're gonna use max overpower as well. With a perfect ball or with a great left, you will have a chance to drop. I mean, this is not going to be an auto albatross, but by playing up onto that little slope, we definitely give ourselves a chance for an albatross on a par 5, where we otherwise would just have to lay up for an eagle. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert Division with the qualifying round win. But as said already, you can use this playthrough for upcoming parts of the tournament as well, because many of the routes will be played similar way regardless what win you do have in the future of the tournament. Subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to subscribe on patreon.com/golf/Tommy for the best guys on the market. Tour and tournament play for as little as $2.50 and up, obviously. Scan the QR code or go directly there by using the link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.